Hi everyone, it's Anja here and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks, and today we are going to look at my grandma's shawl and I'm going to see if I can recreate it. So this is my grandma's shawl that my mum and I found during that video. I will put the link below, in with all those blankets, and I thought it would be such fun to try and recreate it. And the thing is, you see, we've got this picture of my grandma wearing it, so it makes it really precious. And yeah, I want to share with you the pattern, the way that I have worked it out from how my grandma made it, so that you can make it as well. It's a very simple pattern, to be honest. Look at all the tassels. We love this shawl, we really do. So I am really pleased that I've been able to work out how to make this so you can make it as well. So these are the two shawls. So the green one obviously is my grandma's, and then I made mine in pink in a variegated one, and it worked out really well. Well, that's what I think anyway. I hope you like the way mine looks as well. So let's get started. So taking a closer look at the shawl, I worked out that actually she started at the top, so that means she started around the shoulders, then worked her way down, all the way down the back to the tip of the scarf, reducing every row. So that means, although you have to start with quite a long row at the beginning, you are decreasing every row, and every row will get shorter and shorter and shorter until you reach the tip. And I have to say, this made it the fastest shawl I have ever made. Yes, it takes a little bit of perseverance in the beginning to get started and to get set up, but once you are doing the stitch repeat or the pattern repeat, it goes so quickly because every row you do gets smaller. So I made this one in Iceyarns Magic Light, and it's the pink and brown shades one. There's quite a few of them, there's loads of different colors, so do go and have a look at that. And I used a 4 for it. The yarn is prescribed as a 4 or a 4.5, so you could use a 4, you could use a 4.5, you could also use a 5 to give it a little bit more of a lacy effect. Now I am going to do my tutorial today for you with a mini version of this shawl. Otherwise you would not be able to see it properly, and that will give you a much better look, a much better idea of how it is made. So let's get started. I am using chunky with a chunky hook. You are of course using your DK with the matching hook. We are going to get started with a slip knot. Now I am going to make a mini version of this shawl in my chunky so I can show you everything, but you are going to be hearing me use of course all the measurements and all the amounts of stitches for your big shawl. Okay, so we are going to do a slip knot, and then we are going to chain 252 chains. So I will see you when you have done your chains. Alright, so I have done my 252 chains, okay, and now we are going to do a row back with half double crochet. So first of all we need to just chain 2 for our turning chain, and then we are going to tip over our chain. Now if you look at the front of the chain you see the V's. If you look at the back of the chain you see the back bumps, and those are the ones that we are going to be using now. Okay, so you are going to work in the back bumps, and we are going to do a half double crochet in the 4th back bump. So 1, 2, 3, 4 under there, and we do a half double crochet, and we continue like this all along the line. Now sometimes it might be hard to get under there, so I just turn my hook like this and go under it like so, and that helps enormously. This row will need a little bit of perseverance, because yes, it's not going to be easy to pick up those back bumps, but it is going to be worth it. Look, we've got a really nice edge of V's on the edge of our shawl now. Here my grandma did the same thing, and in my version, where I've used variegated, I can actually see the difference with the little V's on top and then the half double crochets in the different color. So it makes for a really nice effect, and as you know, this is not going to be done anything to, so this is going to be our edge, so this will make it a lot nicer. Okay, so I will see you when you have done all your half double crochets. So you're going to be doing 251 half double crochets all along your chain, because of course this chain counts as your first half double crochet, so this will be your 252nd stitch. So I will see you at the end of your line. So I have finished my row of half double crochets. We are now going to start a row of boxes. As you can see, there's 2 rows of boxes, so we'll start the first one now. So we are going to chain up 3, turn, and then you are going to skip, of course, the V that your chain is coming out of. You're going to skip this one, the next one, this one here, and you're going to work in the next one there, yarn over and place a double crochet into that location there. So this is a half box that we've made. Now we're going to make full boxes. Full boxes are made up of 1, 2, 3 chains. You skip 3 V's and you work a double crochet in the 4th one. So we start with a half box and we will end with a half box, but in between we make the full boxes. So we are going to do 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, skipped, work in the 4th one your double crochet. And we are going to continue this all along the line. 3 and 1, 2, 3 into the 4th. So of course you will have a little bit more work than I have, but this way I can show you really nicely what it looks like, because obviously 252 chains, I can't even get those in my viewfinder. Okay, so it's nicer for me to show it this way, but also this later on, this will be your actual end as well that you will be doing on your shawl, so that will help you there as well. So one more box of 3 chains and skipping into the 4th one. There we go. Now I have 2 stitches left. I have the stitch and I have the chain. So once again we do 1 chain and then we do a double crochet into that chain, and very carefully I try to pick up 2 bits of that chain. There we go, and I do my double crochet. Right, so as you can see, you've now got that nearly doesn't fit, here and here at the end and the beginning you've got half a box, and in between you will have 64 boxes. Okay, you will have 64 boxes here and then 2 half boxes, so 1 on each end. Now we are going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're then going to turn, and this time you're going to place your double crochet in the middle of the big box here. So we're going to skip this box and we are going to do a double crochet right here. Okay, so we start with a full box, and in fact this row we will only have full boxes. 3 and so on. So this time you will have 65 full boxes. So you look for that second chain, and I try to pick up 2 things here. Oh, I forgot to yarn over. So yarn over, pick up into that chain there, and you finish your round of boxes. So now in this round you will have, like I said, 65 boxes. Now we are going to start with our first repeat of our stitch, and this time we are using the boxes to set up our stitch repeat. So we are going to start with 3 chains. Now, depending on how big your chains are, I would do 3 or 4 chains. If you think that your edge is going to, after you've done a few rows, you will feel that your edge is a little bit tight, you might want to start doing a couple of rows with 4 chains. Don't do all of them, because then it will become too loose. Okay, so you just have to gauge that. If you find it's getting a little bit then do a couple of rows, or every other row with 4 chains. But just so that you know, you can alternate these, just so you make sure that your scarf doesn't get, you know, sort of tight on the edge. Then we are going to turn, and in the first box we are going to put a treble crochet. So a treble crochet is yarn over twice, insert into your box, and you perform your treble crochet until you have no loops left, or just the 1 loop left on your hook. Then you yarn over again twice, and in the next box we are going to put 2 trebles, a chain and 2 trebles. So yarn over twice, so this is the fun stitch. The yarn over twice, chain 1, and again yarn over twice, do another treble, there we go. Okay, so we always start with 1 treble on its own, then the next thing we do is 2 trebles, a chain and 2 trebles. So that is what you're going to do all along your first line. So each time in another box you do, first of all, a treble on its own, and then in the next box you do 2 trebles, a chain and 2 trebles. So in the next box, the treble on its own. In the next box you do the shell of 2 trebles, a chain and 2 trebles. Next, 1 treble, next box, the shell again, and you work your way all the way to the end like this. And you should have done 32 repeats. 32 repeats of doing 1 treble in the first box, then a shell in the next box. And if you've done 32 repeats, you will have left over 1 box at the end. In that box, you are going to do a treble. Then you are going to do another treble on the corner of that box. So you find the second chain, you find the V to pick up, and you do a treble in there. There we go. Okay, so you start with your chain and a treble, and you finish with a treble and then another treble, because that's then your side chain. Okay, so this is what it's looking like at the moment. Let me just squash it together so you can see it in the viewfinder. And as I said, you are doing 32 of these repeats. So this is a repeat, this here, 1, 2, that is a repeat, and you have done 32 of them, and then you have another extra 1 treble there. Okay, now we are going to do the next row, and you are going to chain 3 or 4 depending on the size of your, do you know what, I'm going to chain 4 here. Okay, then the first thing you do is your treble, and the trebles are placed in the chain space of the shell. So yarn over twice into the chain space and do your treble. Okay, so you start every row by doing a treble into the chain space. Then you are going to find the location to do your shell, and that is here. So it's past the treble of the lower round. Okay, so you sort of continue and you go past that treble in there. That is where you are going to do your shell, and of course your shell is made up of 2 trebles, a chain and 2 trebles. And basically that is it. So now treble in the chain space. Now shell here past the treble from the lower round. And that's it. You keep going like this until you reach the end of the round, and you will notice that every row you will have 1 repeat of your shells and your 1 trebles less. So your rows will get quicker as you go. But I love doing the trebles. There we go, look at that. So that's another shell done nearly. There we go, and then here, yeah, location for my individual one. Then we end up here, and you are going to do that finishing treble into that V that you see on top of here, because we need to make a side to our shawl, of course. And there we go. That is our row done. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 5 repeats below here, and now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have decreased 1. So you will have, like I said, 32 here, and then your next row you will only have done 31. Okay, so each row there will be less and less to do. So chain 3 or 4 depending on how you feel and then same thing again, into the chain space with your treble, past this treble to do your shell, and you keep going like this until, of course, you are at the location where I am, basically, and then you will find out how we are going to finish this shawl in a moment. But have fun doing all your rounds. It's great fun doing this because, to be honest, once you get used to yarning over twice each time, yeah, it's so easy to find the location of your stitches, of where you have to put them. You always start with a treble in the chain space, you end with a treble in that last chain space, and then you do one to make the side of your shawl into that V of the row below. So it is really, really quick to do this shawl. And look at this. Oh yeah, see, talking too much. There we go. Okay, so I'm at the end again. I'm now going to do that treble into that V, just so that I have a nice side to my shawl. There we are. Look at that. I've done my next row. Let me move that aside. And look at that. I have done 3. So you will have done 30 there. Okay, so let's keep going, shall we? Okay, so again, same thing. 3 chains. Yeah, I have no idea whether my grandma followed the pattern for this, or whether she came up with it herself. She made this shawl a long time ago. I have no idea when she made it, but I don't think I was born yet. So yes, that is a very old picture of her wearing the shawl, and I am so pleased I have that. So yeah. Okay. And this time I'm only doing 2 repeats, and then that treble in the last one. There we go. Twice. And we're already at the end here. Look at that. And off we go again. So let's chain 3, and again, first one in that chain space, yarn over twice, past the treble for the shell, chain 1. Yeah, it's such a fun repeat and so easy to find where to put it. So yeah, I really enjoyed making this. And look, I am there. So this is that V. There we go. So we've now got just the 1 repeat, and we have the other, the other treble on that side there as well. So now we are going to chain 3. This is the location for 1 treble, so we do it there, and already we're doing that one in the V, so we do it. There we go, and that is our shawl finished. Well, the body of the shawl, well, my mini shawl. Okay, so as you can see, it's reduced really nicely, and now I am going to get started on doing the sides. So you have to cut off your yarn and sew this in. Okay, we're now ready to start doing the boxes on the side. Okay, so you take your shawl. Once again, we are going to get started with a slip knot. Insert your hook. And I am going to put here, I'm going to try and find that last sort of, wherever you think is going to be the last chain or the corner chain. So you yarn over into there and you do a double crochet. Okay, so that's where we get started. So then we are going to do 2 chains, and you are going to place your double crochet here in this box. So once again, we are starting with half a box. Now we are going to chain 3, and this time we are going to go, like my grandma did as well, into here, sort of that first sort of triangle almost that you have on the side. So you've got all these little triangles on the side, and that's where we are going to put the boxes in now. So let's see if we can manage that. Now, once again, the same advice. If you find you're bunching up your sides because you haven't got enough space here, do a couple of 4 chains in between, but 3, three should be sufficient if you've done 3 on the side anyway. But yeah, you might just have to take a look and see how it is going, if it's still lying flat or not. Okay, so if you find it's sort of, coming in, then you might need to do a couple of more chains in between. Of course, I only have a few boxes to regulate my shawl, to regulate the sides, so it might be that you do a couple with 4, couple with 3, just see how it goes. So when you get to the tip, you do 1 here, of course, in that last triangle. Then you do 3 chains, and you're going to put a double crochet on top of that treble crochet here. So you go into that V there. Then you do a chain 2, and you do another double crochet into that same treble from below, making like a triangle. And then you do 3 chains and into that triangle below that. There we go. So we've made our corner. Okay. And then you continue down the side to the end, where you will have a half box to do as well again. So there we go. So 3 chains each time, and just in the middle of those triangles that we created on the side while we were reducing our rows. 2, 3. So into this one here, into that half box. I think I skipped that one there. Okay, and then we do 1 chain, and then you yarn over, and you find sort of that very first V there. Yep. And I do my double crochet in there, just so that I have a good anchoring place for it. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains. You turn, and this time you are not going to go into here, but we are going to go into the middle of the big box. It's the same principle as before, where we do the boxes sort of in the middle of that first round. So continue like this all along your scarf again. And I will just show you again what you are doing at the tip, because it's the same thing, to be honest. 2, 3. So there we go. So here we do 3 chains into that chain space here, where you do your double crochet, 2 chains and your double crochet, and then off we go again. There we go, to do the 3 chains and our double crochet into the middle of that next box. Okay, so these are now the anchoring places for our tassels, so we will be putting those on in a few moments. So let's continue to the end of our shawl. One, 2, 3. There we go. Yeah, I found this a really nice shawl to make. Yes, mine is smaller, but that just depends on the yarn, on the hook, and on the personal tension. So there we go. But I'm loving both of them. Let's put it that way. Okay, I'm finding 2 V's to go under, and I do my last double crochet there. Okay, so this now is ready, like I said, to put the tassels on. Now, to make the tassels, I measured one of my Mucus tassels. I undid it and I measured how long the actual piece of string was. And I also counted how many strings she had here. So I worked out that you need a piece of cardboard, this is how I do it, of 16 centimeters wide. Okay, 16 centimeters or 6.5 inches. You're then going to also need a bigger hook. I just use like a 6.5 or even bigger than that, just a chunky hook, and your scissors and your leftover yarn. Now I've done this one, as you know, in variegated wool, so I have tried also to keep my tassels variegated, and it's worked really well. So I've had to do them obviously one at a time and then just attach them, and I went along the whole scarf like this. So this is what you do. Okay, so what I do is I put the yarn like this, hold it down with my thumb, and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 revolutions, and I'm back where I started here. Then I cut off this bit from the ball, and then I just put my scissors in between there, cut, keep hold of everything so it doesn't come undone. Try and pick up in the middle as well as you can, holding it like this. Then you take your hook, you put it in your next box here, you put it all over the hook or round the hook, and you pull it, bring it through your box. Make a big loop, take your hook out, put your fingers in, and bring the tail end through there. And as you can see, they're all in the same way, and it looks prettier on this side, but I just, it was easier for me just to do it like this. And then you sort of pull it gently, but also keep your boxes shaped correctly as well. And that's how you are going to continue doing this. Right, we've got our cardboard, we've got the end of our wool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cut, cut, hold on. Hold it like so. Into the box. Always go into the same way, so all your tassels are in the same direction. There we go. I'm quite enjoying doing this. 5, 6. And it doesn't matter if they're not all completely the same. But by doing it around the cardboard, you'll ensure that all your tassels are, sort of the same length-ish. I am not going to cut them, apart from maybe one like this here. I might cut that off, but other than that. So I'm really pleased with how this is looking. Like I said, I'm not going to cut off any here. I think they're all reasonably the same length anyway. And I am really enjoying the fact that they are sort of gradated in colour as well, because I've taken them off the ball like that and attached them each time. So yeah, I'm really pleased with what it's looking like, and I will see you in a moment when I'm wearing it. Yes, so I really enjoy wearing it. I think it worked out really nicely. It's a little bit smaller than my grandma's shawl, but there you go. That's how it goes when you try to recreate these things. So I am so pleased. I have that little picture of her. One thing I forgot to tell you is that her name is Anna. So obviously that is why I have called this the Anna shawl. And here they are side by side on the bench. Yeah, it's been a wonderful journey. It's been really lovely to try and recreate her shawl, and I do hope that you will try it and that you will enjoy making it. I certainly have, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.